Afternoon, VC Harris here with another video, action-packed. This one. This is my Apocalypse Now, I think. Obviously, weighing in on the MoFi debate. I'm angry. I'm fuming. I could crush a grape. Mainly, I'm angry because I don't really understand what the fuck everyone's talking about. I've watched the videos. I hear am I the only one who understands less about the issue after hearing the debate than they knew before? It's all stampers, DFS. I mean, DFS. That's a furniture showroom, man. I don't know how they've got involved, and I'm just sort of what's dawned on me is I don't think I'm intelligent enough to listen to music. I'm getting these sort of repressed memories of being back at school in remedial maths, where I didn't quite understand long division. I think the worst news of the MoFi debate is it's probably going to send me back into 12 sessions of expensive therapy. Yeah, I'm going to try and just move past it now, to be honest. And I've made the difficult decision not to invite Michael Fremer onto my channel. One, because he seems very busy, and two, I've got Dave Grohl ringing me up at 3 a.m. Screaming down the phone that Michael Fremer's now overexposed. And to be honest, if you've got Dave Grohl telling me you're over fucking exposed, then you probably need to stand back, Mick. But yeah, good times. Anyway, I've got some vinyl finds. I meet a VC legend, and that's your lot. First up, vinyl finds, charity shop. Actually, wasn't that cheap. Brian Eno, more blank than frank. A compilation, songs from the period 73 to 77. I'd recommend all the Brian Eno, sort of what I call the wonky pop albums, taking Tiger Mountain by Strategy, Before and After Science, Another Green World, Warm Jets. Brilliant. I love this. Has got Backwater on it, which is probably, I think, one of the greatest pop songs of the 70s. Kind of invented quirky new wave in my mind. Kind of invented XTC, but yeah, I think Backwater is one of the greatest singles of the 70s. But yeah, there's no ambient stuff here. As I said, it's all this kind of wonky pop, and it's got that lad from King Crimson who's married to Toya on guitar, and it comes with the postcard. I think this was to accompany a book he brought out, More Shark Than Dark, in the 80s. But yeah, good little track list really for you, Brian. But it's probably not the way to go. I would go with any of those 70s Brian Eno, what I call the pop albums that I've just mentioned. But this is certainly pretty good, and I've always wanted this, and good times. Next up, I kind of always wanted this. Found this at the legendary Boohoo Records in Southampton, a world of sheer chaos, where the vinyl revival still hasn't reached that part of Southampton. The legend Barry that works there, 80 years old now, Barry. He don't give a monkeys. He had this, and he's given it to me for a tenner. It's the Cowboy Junkies, the Trinity Sessions. I think this was quite a big deal, both sides of the Atlantic. It came out in 88. It's them recording in a church, one microphone, a lot of covers. Sweet Jane, which isn't bad actually. Walking After Midnight, but also some good originals. I've got to say, the album that came after this, The Caution Horses, I really like, and it got slammed, but it's got some fucking great songs on The Caution Horses, especially side A, and it's got a great Neil Young cover on it as well. But this is decent, yeah. Obviously pretty ambient, kind of suits the weather at the moment. You want to be listening to this at 2 a.m. when it's still 40 degrees out there, which it is at the moment. But yeah, Cowboy Junkies, the Trinity Sessions. This one, I've had my eye on this for a little while actually. It's a compilation, Bob Stanley and Pete Wiggs. Bob Stanley, who was in St Etienne, still is I think. He's probably put out about 80 compilations, ranging from disco to 60s punk to techno to house to reggae. He's done an amazing folk pop 70s one called English Weather. This is called Fell From The Sun, and it's the best. They describe it pretty well on the back. After the late 80s music explosion, house music explosion, Britain needed to lie down. Between 90 to 91, I bought a host of records that were to accompany the sunrise. They slowed the pace on the dance floor down to 98 beats per minute, woozy and hypnotic. This was the perfect post-club soundtrack. It's basically all these sort of bands that appeared in England after the sort of rave had blown up, doing a sort of come down, chill out. So the best one known on here would be like Higher Than the Sun by Primal Scream, the Orb mix. But it's got some bangers on here. Temple Head by Trans Global Underground, which is magnificent, uses Indian chants on it. Flotation by The Grid, well, I think that Dave Ball from Soft Selling actually. Fallen by One Dove. just a great compilation. It sounds drastically dated, I will say, because it's kind of got that. They used to sample like the amen breaks of soul breaks and then slow it down and then put sort of bleeps and bloops over it, and it very Balearic, basically to the sort of thing you listen to as the sun goes down over Millbrook. But yeah, nice gatefold, and yeah, really recommend this. Another couple of cheap ones I bought. I love this. It's 12-inch Who's Zooming Who by Aretha Franklin. This is my favourite. And it kind of, a lot of people I think get confused by my musical outlook on life, but it would be summed up by me saying my favourite ever Aretha Franklin song is Who's Zooming Who. Forget Aretha gospel and all that nonsense, and Aretha in the dark. I just want to get on me a Marnie warm-up suit and do the Smurf on a bit of lino to Who's Zooming Who by Aretha Franklin. Absolutely magnificent, 99 pence, beautiful. And this is a killer. I'm so glad I bought this. I've forgotten how amazing this is. Going Back to Cali by LL Cool J. This just sounds brilliant. You want to see the video for this on YouTube as well. It's one of the best videos ever shot. But Going Back to Cali by LL Cool J, absolute monster. Sub bass, big scratching, very slow. Again, this is probably about 80 beats per minute. But yeah, you really need to listen to this again. Fantastic. Last Sunday I met a VC legend. Doesn't do a channel, but everyone knows him because he comments on every video. And what a bloke he was. Fantastic. Ed Topo, or Ed Topo. Ed, I never actually asked how to pronounce the second part of your name. And we had a few beers in the afternoon and bumped into a couple of his mates as well, including Irish George, or Irish John, actually. It was pretty well lit, but he was a great lad. And yeah, spent about 4 hours drinking with Ed, and Ed very kindly bought me a bag of records. I'm not going to show them all because we'd be here for 20 minutes. I mean, it was such a lovely gesture. But he's picked a lot of stuff that I would have gone for if I'd seen it. So, and he's just given them to me. I just can't believe it. So Ed, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. First up, I'm an Ed. Ed knows, I think, my taste slightly. And I'm an Earth, Wind and Fire fan. I've got about 4 of their 70s albums, which I think they're amazing. I don't have this one, Open Your Eyes, and it is fantastic. And it's got the amazing Mighty Mighty and Devotion, but Mighty Mighty. As soon as I heard it, I thought, oh yeah, I know this tune. This used to get played a lot. So I've got this one. Next up, I was pretty excited to find this. As soon as I saw Def Jam Records, he's given me Public Enemy's 911 is a Joke, which is one of my favourite all-time Public Enemy 12 inches. Flavor Flav absolutely murdering it. And because the album's so crammed, it sounds awful on the album. So to get the 12-inch head, I was well chuffed with. This is dynamite, and I would have leapt on this if it was 10, 50, because this is a 15 quid record now. Running Away, the 12-inch by Roy Ayers, which is, I probably first heard in 1990, Description of a Fool by Tribe Called Quest, and it's absolutely killer. And on the back, can't see me, this is pretty desirable, and I would have, this is the sort of thing I spot in London occasionally, but I leap on this sort of stuff, and this is killer. This is killer. Running Away by Roy Ayers. I've got to try and find Everybody Loves the Sunshine, and that'll be, thank you so much. Another killer, and this is right up my street. Patrice Rushen, Feels So Real. Again, this sort of mid-80s boogie. Oh, I love all this. It's got the picture sleeve, and again, it's pretty, a lot of people want this, and the dub mix is great on here as well, but absolute sucker for this, and Patrice looking good on the front as well. But this is the one, and I think Ed knew this might, and I feel a bit bad about this. I think Ed knew this was pretty special. This is Yama and Jiro's Wave, Girl Talk. It's a Japanese jazz album that came out in the 70s. There ain't many copies of this about. It's worth an arm and a leg. It kind of sounds like 70s Bill Evans meets Vince Giraldi. It's just lovely. It's not experimental. It's just a load of sort of standards. I think this is a Japanese pressing. It sounds phenomenal. This is the best sounding record I've ever heard. It just sounds phenomenal. Ed, I think you knew what you were doing when you gave this to me, but if you didn't, let me know, because this is a rare record, man. And it's a killer as well. It's a real late night, beautiful jazz record, and I'm so appreciative of getting it. I cannot believe you just gave it to me, and the cover is just, oh my God. I don't own a Japanese pressing, but this thing is off the freaking charts. So thank you so much, Ed. That's my latest video. Everyone take care, and stay hydrated, and I'll speak to you again soon.